Good morning. Today I'm off to do a van upgrade that I've been sitting on for quite a while now. I've looked at a couple of different versions of doing this and it's not cheap, but as I'm sure most of you will agree, having a decent sound system in your van, having good music, having the ability to listen to podcasts and things when you're driving, it's really beneficial. So for any of you guys that have a Sprinter, you'll probably recognize this, the old factory fitted one. Now the problem with this is not that it's just sort of bland and mediocre and rather boring, which it is all of those things, and so it's great to upgrade, but also when we looked at this the other day, what we found is that the reason that my speakers weren't working on the one side is that this head unit is faulty and it keeps blowing it. So the whole thing basically needs to be upgraded. Like I said, it's been on my list to do for a while. So what we now have is, instead of this horrible looking thing, we're going to have a really nice brand new stereo fitted in that space. So this is what I'm doing today. Now, I know some of you people will be out there shaking your heads and saying to me, why didn't you do it yourself? It's not that hard, blah, de, blah, de, blah. But if you don't know what you're doing, it makes no sense to do it yourself and make a situation potentially much worse and much more expensive, right? So I'm actually going to the professionals to get this done today. So I'm going from what is the original factory fitted stereo, and I'm looking to get fitted this double din kenwood thing. So I'm having all the speakers upgraded as well, and the whole thing's being done. I think as well, depending on how it goes with the wiring and stuff, we're going to take a look at the reversing camera as well, because again, I've got the old standard one, but what we may do is upgrade that and run it through the central screen as well. We'll have a look when we're there. So all of this, like I said, it's not particularly cheap, but the guys that I'm taking it to are professional at this. They're very good at this. And what I'm paying for essentially is peace of mind. Yeah. So I know that some people would be able to do this themselves. I'm not one of those. But on the other side of the coin, there's things I can do that other people can't do. So it's very much horses for courses. So with this particular instance, let's get driving, let's get up there. I've got to hang around for a couple of hours. I've got the dog with me, so we're going to try and probably go out for a good walk and what have you. But in the meantime, let's get there first. The thing is about industrial estates is it's pretty hard to make them look sexy, isn't it? They're obviously necessary evils and they're great. And a lot of van life, the reality of it is a lot of van life is actually spent on industrial estates. It's not all Instagram photos by the beach. A good industrial estate is a great overnight park up a lot of the time. So, right, we're just pulling up to the place now. So, SJ Concepts is the name of the place, and that's where we're at. So I'm hoping that as we're booked in first thing in the morning, this won't take too long. I'm walking down away from the industrial estate and I'm off to try and find somewhere for the dog to have a little run, some green space, right? And so what I've done is I've walked out along towards a place called Nash Road, and this runs alongside parallel with the industrial estate, and supposedly somewhere over there should be some greenery. But this is what I want to show you. This is what we do, right? This is what we as a human race are responsible for. Can you see all this? This is all bottles and bin bags and broken glass, right? And this is all of the way along. Somebody's actually driven along here and thrown a load of bin bags into the stream, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure what it is. But look, it's absolutely disgraceful. There's broken glass everywhere, bottles. It does make you wonder, it really does, because you hear about people complaining about sort of van life and van lifers. And you hear these people talking about how, we're responsible for wrecking the blooming environment and stuff. And I agree with you. Since the dreaded C word, there has been a lot more people coming into these communities that maybe don't hold the same values. But I don't know a single person who owns a van that would treat nature like this, not a single one. So with that being said, who's doing all of this? Who's throwing all this away like this, right? And who's responsible for cleaning it up? Because this has got to be so bad for us all, right? This kind of mentality. So hopefully, hopefully this isn't going to be the entire way down, because it's really disheartening to see. I found a spot. So we managed to come off this main drag now, and the detritus and the rubbish kind of lasted the whole way. It's pretty disgraceful, to be honest with you. Anyway, here now is a sign, and it says 2 miles to the transporter bridge. And Ron, we've just come onto this cycle path, so I think that's going to be a pretty good thing to aim for today, because it's going to be a few hours for them to get the van sorted. So I figure it's a lovely day, let's make the most of it. So let's walk there, because the transporter bridge, which is in Newport, South Wales, is a pretty extraordinary sort of feat of engineering, and well worth having a closer look at. So we're going to wander that way and see how far we get, really. It's a beautiful day. Now the scenery has picked up, it's a lot nicer, and we're off the main road. So let's enjoy the rest of it. Thinking about this nature thing right now. I wouldn't like to say I'm a deep thinker on the subject, because I'm not, right? I believe that we should try our very best to live in harmony with the planet as much as we possibly can. But that's as far as it goes for me right now. Interestingly, ever I walk along here, this path, there's these enormous windmill things. Now, for those of you that may not be familiar with them, they are extraordinarily big, and they're huge, great chunks of iron. And my understanding is that they're not as effective as people have made them out to be. But one thing is for sure, they really are an eyesore on the landscape. There's nothing attractive about them at all, and they're dotted everywhere. It's incredible. We're walking along the coast. I can sort of understand why, and why it would be a good idea if it was actually worked in the way that was promised, which my understanding is it's not. But nonetheless, they're an eyesore. They are ugly. This mess is just everywhere. So everywhere I'm walking, there's just rubbish strewn all across the roads, right? Everywhere you walk, it's disgraceful, is what it is. There's actually a sofa down there. There you go. Yeah, so there's a sofa down there, and lots of dirty nappies and all sorts of stuff. So again, I don't know what the answer is to all of this, but wherever you look, it doesn't matter which side of the road, there's just rubbish everywhere. It's pretty disgraceful, to be honest. There she is, the first view of the transporter bridge. So I just walked through this another industrial estate around the corner, and there it is in front of me. So we'll take a little walk up. We may not go right up to it, but we'll take a little walk up and have a look. We made it to the transporter bridge. I've never seen it from this angle before. I've driven past on the other side of the road more times than I care to think, but I've never actually seen it from here. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit down, have a little bit of lunch underneath the shadow of this thing, and just have a look. And I might even do a bit of Googling and find out some things about it, because being honest, I don't know much. We're sat now on a picnic bench just underneath the thing here. The dog doesn't understand the rules. He's on the table, not the bench. I know, I've got to get him off. So I made myself a little picnic for this because I knew that I'd be out for a while, which is okay, which is great, and it's a really nice day for it. So we've had a pretty substantial walk. Now we're just gonna have a chill out, a little bit of relax. I'll just spin you around. You can see, can you see him here? There you go, he's quite happy in the sun. So what we're gonna do is just have a bit of lunch. I've brought being on a health kick at the minute, so I brought along a picnic that's good for me. So salad, some cold meat, and some cheese and stuff. So nothing too incredible, but sustenance and will keep me going. So I'm going to eat this and I'm going to have a little look about some things to do with the bridge, give it a little Google. It turns out I'm not the sharpest tool in the box, okay? So this is my third attempt at this. The two previous attempts, it turns out, had absolutely no volume on them. And I thought, well, why is that? And it transpires that it's because the CarPlay is on. So if the CarPlay is on, it's not going to pick up any volume through the screen. So anyway, that's that. But here's the good news, right? We're back from the walk. We had a really long walk. It went on far more than we should have. In fact, it went on so far that this is the result. Now, we are back. Everything's in place, everything's installed. It looks really, really good. I'm going to show you a basic photograph of it on, because if I turn it on, you're not going to be able to hear me. So I'll show you that, right? Now, they've done really well. It took a couple of hours. Like I said, family run business. They're professional at this. And what they've installed is the, excuse me, if I can just fish the box out for you. So what they've installed is one of these, which is a Kenwood DMX 77. So it's got DAB radio, CarPlay, all that good stuff. I've had the speakers upgraded as well, so they're now giving this phenomenal, great surround sound. Before, I only had one side working, and the music came out really sort of peculiar depending on the way they put the tracks down on the recording. So sometimes you just get vocals, other times you get like a heavy bass and nothing else. So anyways, really nice to have the whole song in the way it's meant to be done, right? So that's that to it. I've also had the reversing camera sorted. I've still got the old screen. We're still going to run through that, and the reason is that we've put a brand new camera on the back and just wired that up to the existing wiring, because I didn't really want to take the time to run all the way back through. Obviously, as you can tell, the van's all done out, and it's more trouble than it's worth. So we've gone for that, and that works perfectly fine. I'm more than happy with that. So the stereo itself, if you remember, this is what it looks like with the original head unit in, right? So this has come out. We're going to keep this in case I ever want to sell the van or what have you. I can just pop this straight back in and take this system out, right? Now here, look, is what we've now got in its place, which is this really nice screen. As I said, if I turn it on for you, you will lose the voice on this. So it just gives you an idea of it in situ, right? It looks really smart. Again, it's got all the sort of facing and everything like that. What did it cost? I'm not going to go into exact details. I'm not going to tell you exactly what the cost was because I don't want to really. Suffice to say that what I was paying for was for peace of mind. So this is a business that specialises in this. They do everything that needs to be doing. They are the main suppliers for Kenwood and various others. So everything's warranted, everything's guaranteed, everything's, you know, above board and as it should be. And I paid for that peace of mind. So I'm okay with it. A lot of people I know wouldn't be, and I don't blame them because it was quite a lot of money. But for me, for that peace of mind and knowing that I'm not going to burn my van down or blow myself up or make something far more expensive than it needed to be, I'm okay with that. So that's the situation we're all in. Everything's happy and it's great. Oh, one more thing, guys. I keep forgetting to say this, but if you like my videos, please do subscribe, click the bell notification, all those other things, because it really helps us. So see you on the next one.